Turkey is invading Syria after American withdrawal. The White House has declared war on the impeachment inquiry, with President Trump calling it a kangaroo court. And according to the New York Times, a White House aide was visibly shaken after the Ukraine phone call that launched this whole impeachment mess. There's lots of news out there, and keep checking thehill.com for the latest. Here's our latest on WYSC. Bernie is back on Tuesday, but how will the campaign change? The 400 richest Americans are paying lower taxes than you. The Trump team is killing the game on Facebook. I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. Last week, Bernie Sanders was rushed to the hospital with chest pain in Nevada, where he had 2 stents put in. While other campaigns and journalists wondered what was really going on, it turned out things were a little worse than the Sanders campaign initially advised. The 78-year-old senator had a heart attack. Now, Senator Sanders is telling supporters and the general public that he's going to have to throttle things back just a little bit. He's not changing his message. He's not going to stop taking on the plutocrats and the establishment. He's just going to pull back from 5 or 6 meetings a day and 3 to 4 rallies or town hall meetings. It's a tough spot for the campaign, as Sanders was already losing steam in his chug uphill against Senator Elizabeth Warren. Warren has a similar platform to Sanders, looking to tilt the scales back toward the working class and away from the elites. But her approach comes without the revolutionary zeal. She's more of a reformer. Warren has taken second place and sometimes comes in first in recent polls. Now back to Bernie and why you should care. Senator Sanders represents a key constituency in the Democratic Party. His ideas now animate much of the progressive policy think tank. And when his voters are added to social justice liberals and more moderate centrists, Democrats are a tough coalition to beat. In the last election, Hillary Clinton was never fully able to win over those Bernie Sanders voters, and that was surely one of the reasons why she lost that electoral college vote. Whatever happens in the primaries, Sanders voters aren't going anywhere. And if he's not the nominee, the next Democratic standard bearer will need Bernie Sanders' support to take Donald Trump out. Good health, Bernie. For the first time since, well, maybe ever, billionaires are paying taxes at a lower rate than most working people. Emmanuel Saez and Gabriel Zuckman, economists from the University of California at Berkeley, wrote a book-length study called The Triumph of Injustice. The book analyzed the history of Americans' effective tax rates, the average tax rates for a corporation or individual. I know that by even hearing the word taxes, you might be ducking out of this YouTube video. Taxes are boring and sometimes painful, believe me, we know. But you may want to stick around, because what these economists found was pretty incredible. In 2018, the richest 400 families had an effective tax rate of 23%, while the bottom half of American households paid 24.2%. That's in stark contrast to the 1950s, when the richest families had a tax rate of 70%. Over time, their tax rate decreased, while the effective tax rate paid by the bottom 50% has basically stayed the same. The study notes that it's important to focus in on these top-earning 400 families, since they have more than the bottom 60% of households in wealth, and the top 0.1% own as much as the bottom 80%. History shows us that our economy doesn't do well when tax rates on the rich are low and wealth inequality is through the roof. It can lead to boom and bust cycles, as those with too much money are looking for riskier places to invest and wind up in bogus stock deals like the Great Depression or the near financial collapse of 2007 and 8. So how did this happen, and why should you care? It's a combination of lawmakers cutting taxes on capital gains in the states and failing to help the IRS crack down on tax dodging. President Trump's 2017 tax cut is just one example. It lowered the top income tax bracket and gutted the corporate tax rate. These economists argue the United States has succeeded in implementing progressive tax rates before. That policy change boosted economic growth while collecting taxes successfully. We could do so again. House Democrats are hitting President Trump with an impeachment inquiry pretty hard. The White House has dug its heels in, refusing to cooperate with the House intel investigation, and the Trump campaign is also pushing back in the best way they know how. They're flooding social media with ad buys,
fabricating evidence.
Adam Schiff, in the middle of a committee hearing, making crap up.
Since the whistleblower drama came to light in September, the Trump campaign spent between $600,000 and $2 million. New York University researcher Laura Edelson analyzed data and found that Trump's Facebook page published more than 1,800 ads mentioning the word impeachment, and they've been viewed 16 to 18 million times. This is all part of the official Impeachment Defense Task Force, a coalition that the Trump campaign launched. Other Republicans jumped on the impeachment ad buy bandwagon, most notably Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who's facing re-election in 2020. Now, why you should care? From the hefty ad buys and rallies, it's not hard to see they've got the money to spend. Or do they? According to a Politico report, the Trump campaign has some unpaid bills looming. Apparently, it still owes 10 cities money for services provided by local police and fire departments. The complaints total about $840,000. Trump defended blue-collar workers, hard-working rural Americans who vehemently support the president. So why is his campaign leaving these very same workers hanging? As hardworking Americans help foot the bill for President Trump's big-scale rallies and appearances, his campaign juggernaut continues shelling out cash to hit back as hard as they can to shield the president from impeachment backlash. Are the Democrats even playing this game? Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.